to Edge Office. Then the rest, I don't know, Lynn, how you want to move forward, but yeah, that on my side, that will be the priority topic to make sure that we close and deliver whatever we committed to deliver to Edge Office.
Yeah, I have no. So for now, the rest of the work is about WP4, 4.3, I guess.
Yes, I think so. We can maybe start like sharing with everyone the list. And you know, I think it was one of the last actions from Lalita to try to list like the progress status where we were standing on all the deliverable, which one were like ready for review, and the one that we're still needing like some effort. So maybe I don't know, Lynn, if you have this. I think it was a slide that she made the very last week before like moving to the new life. So maybe we can start with that just to make sure that we're all aligned in terms of missing technical content.
Oh, wait, okay, sure. I'm trying to find out the.
You know, if you're struggling, I might. I'm pretty sure it was on LRZ. We must have. I think it was in management and then deliverable. Yeah, that must be there online, I think.
So I'm gonna share my screen, okay?
Great, thanks. Thanks. Okay, good. We can see your screen. Perfect. Yeah, exactly. That's the list. So you can see like the 1.3, which is the one on the SIT side for the waste to energy part that Erin and the colleagues from SIT needs to complete. I think it was one of the first slide that you shared. So maybe if you move up a bit, it was a table with like a color code. So in green, it was like already submitted to Edge Office. Orange, it was like well progressed and just need a final completion. And then the last one were the one in red where we, or at least Lalita and myself, felt that we needed to put more efforts. If you, I think it was probably like in the slide above, if you scroll up a bit, I'm still on my side, I'm stuck on slide 13. Not this one. No, if you go higher, probably in the first, go up, because I saw it when you opened it. Up. Yeah, I think that's this one, slide 4. I think that's the one where we listed like the deliverables. So this has already like a few, I would say, month hold. I mean, yeah, one month and a half. So it was like P13. So that's the one from Erin, and P4. Right, for the overall, let's say, optimization and market handling, more on NTU side and TUM as well. So those, yeah, 1.3 and P4 globally, or at least like I can't remember if it was, it must be P4.2 or something like that. Special temporal optimization for market participation that we discussed already a few weeks back. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago with you, Juan, and as well like Gian. Maybe we can focus on those 2-1, no, on those 2, knowing that on 1.3, since Erin is not feeling well, we can directly switch to P4. And maybe if Juan and Gian, if you have like just an update based on what happened like in the past 2 to 3 weeks last time we talked to each other.
Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Thanks, Gian. Thanks, Tim, for sharing.
Yeah, for me, just a quick update. I have been improving the P4 report in the overleaf document, as you can see, mostly on improving the working package 4.3. That is our work on the implementation using the Massimo as well as the UI development. Yeah. So now the documentation, I think, is almost ready. Only the last, I think, the references and the literature I need to include and check, which I plan to finish just before the end of this week. Yeah.
Okay, so for the report here, it's just Primo Project 4 repeat, and this part is.
No, this part is Juan's part.
Yeah. Okay.
For me,
so this is this is what you have written for package 4.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So for next week, we will organize a knowledge transfer meeting with you and Juan. Between Tune Create and EDF, and I will try to absorb knowledge from your side and organize, archive a lot of things we have done. And,
Excellent.
And I will also upload the relevant profiles and archives to EDF GitLab. Yeah, we will do
yes. For proper archiving. Yeah, thanks indeed. Yeah, we'll have to see as well with Edge Office what they're expecting from us. I think that's something that we already discussed together. How to transfer or to send those code file and source file if Edge Office are interested in. I'm not. I have to double check the letter of award. I don't remember exactly what we need to deliver to them. Like I think it's the source code as well, but I will have to double check in the contract that when we awarded the project like 3 years and a half ago. But thanks, Dean. I mean, anyhow, let's do this work of trying to archive everything nice and neat, so that it's going to be just like doing like a right click and zip like all the Python files or library from Esmo that will then potentially transfer to this as part of the full self-standing deliverable.
Yes, Roma, and also thanks. I already shared all my handover documents to Pengfeng in LRZ. I think Pengfeng already received those documents. Yeah.
Yeah, I've already received that document.
Very good. Okay,
yeah, that's on my side.
For 4.3. Thanks, Gian. Juan, do you want to? I don't know if you have any progress since the last meeting. So yeah, I was just checking my notes. So it was early Feb, like 2 weeks ago, I think on the 8th of Feb. I know that last week you had as well like a follow-up and some kind of knowledge transfer or focus on DRO, reinforcement learning, and so on for the for P4, the one on which NTU is leading. Anything you would like to share with the rest of the technical team?
Okay, sure. How can you see my screen?
It's coming up on my side. I still can't see it, but I see like the black screen of transition. I'll let you know when I can see it. Good. Okay, I can see Overleaf. Thanks.
Oh, okay. I'm using the app this time, so I think the web. Okay. So I finished the 4.2, and maybe we can check the framework of the 4.2 to see. Okay. So I divided it into 3 parts. The first part is about the framework of this topic, and the second part is about the algorithm, and the third part is about the simulation results. I'm not sure if the last part should be included, because I find that the 4.3 also focus on the simulation, right? This is 4. It's in the last part here. Because the 4.3 also includes the simulation about and the implementation of the control problem. So I'm not sure should this simulation result be included in 4.2. So this is my major problem.
I'm not sure I follow you. Come again, like the issue that you have in terms of scope of work to integrate. So in 4.2, which part, like on which you have a doubt? Juan, sorry, it's not.
Okay. Let me explain it more clearly. So in 4.2, I divided into 3 parts.
Yes,
the first part is about the framework. The framework introduces the system modeling, which is about every component in the system, how we use the mathematical model to define it, including the microgrid, PV, and flexible load, and the BIS, and the EV, and the DR state space problem. And then the DRL-based coordinated framework is introduced. So the first part of the first section would be the model, and then it would introduce the framework, the DRL-based framework, which is like this one. Then the problem formulation as Markov decision process is introduced, because the DRL need to be solved in the formulation of the Markov decision process, like here. After introduce the problem definition,
I don't think we can see you scrolling down.
Yes, it's still stuck on overleaf. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, okay.
I remember you had the issue as well, like 2 weeks ago, with the web version of Teams that could be a bit troublesome sometime. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Can you see the second part of 4.2 now, the DRL?
No, we're still stuck on basically, I can't. But we're saying like chapter 3, work package 4.2, temporal grid-to-grid coordination framework and algorithm.
Maybe I can share the screen of this part, and you just
give
explanation. And
yes.
Just need to scroll down or scroll up.
Okay. Let me.
Can you see my screen?
We can, yeah. Thanks, Tim.
Okay, so.
So the first part of 4.2 is about the framework, so which introduced the system model in the 3.1.1. So including the like PV, like BSS, and some other all the components in the system.
Okay.
Okay, and then the second part, please go down, and to 3.1.2. Yes, here. So the second part introduces the DRL-based coordinated framework. So which introduces how the DRL is used into this framework to solve the problem. So there is a picture in 3.1, figure 3.1 to introduce this one. You can go down a little bit.
Okay. For this problem, what I want to ask you is that after for day-ahead market, the variables determined by day-ahead, in your case, that variables determined in day-ahead market will not be changed in intraday.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, the energy bidding will not be changed in the real time.
This is a little bit different from the paper that Zhang Kai was written before, and maybe we can discuss it later.
Yes. Okay. Sure. And this is the framework. So the DRL received the expectation of the system situation at time t and decided the energy reserve offer and demand bits. And in the real time, it will be solved by a deterministic model after receiving the real time price and the DR deviation. So that part is solved by a deterministic model, and the real-time dispatch quantity and the total cost will be getted after this problem is solved, and this will be considered as a reward for the DRL policy, and using be used to update the DRL policy.
Okay.
So, and the third part is about how we define this problem as a Markov decision process, because the DRL need to be solved in such a problem formulation. And the second part of the 4.2 would be the DRL algorithm. It is separated into two parts. The first part introduces the deep deterministic policy critic, the DPG algorithm, which including the how we update the critic network and the policy and the total algorithm in the following, in the next page. And the critic act and the DDPG algorithm. And the second part is
the training as well. Okay, great.
Yeah, pre-training. How we pre-train this model using the historical data and the historical policy. So the figure 3.2 shows the method. So in the next page, next page. So for each day after the policy is trained, it will be saved in a historical policy lab. So every time when we need to train the policy for the new day, it will use the policy from the last day, which is a pre-training process and as the initial policy for the DRL, so agent. So for every day, it will just need a little iteration to update or say adjust this policy to get the new days beating the energy reserve offer and the demand base. So that's a pre-training process. And the third part is about the simulation result of the SIT and the JTC. So I'm not sure whether this part should be included in 4.2 because I think the 4.3 also included the implementation and the simulation. So maybe we can change another name, or maybe you can just delete this part. I'm not sure.
Yeah, good points. How do you feel about that, Gian, related to 4.3? You present as well results on your side. So should we combine? Definitely. I mean, I think I agree with your point, Juan, that we need to have like something consistent and ideally potentially coordinated. So having one overall chapter, like I don't know, a 4.4 or something, in which we present like the results of the simulation using both approaches, look good to me. But it's really open to discussion. I don't know on Toon Create side, what's your view related to 4.3?
So Roma, you mean we try to combine the result, or?
Potentially to have like one. I mean, if I'm trying to step in the shoes of Edge Office when they were, let's in this case like EMA, when they will be looking at the results, I think it's probably easier to for 4.2 and 4.3. To basically limit on the definition of the system, the boundary of the system, describing like the algorithm of the optimization process used in both, I would say, sub-work package, and then present the overall, let's say, results, and maybe try to put them in perspective with each other, because like, and that's the part that's still not clear, and so I would rely on you to check whether or not at some point. There is some kind of intertwined results from 4.2 and 4.3 that was leveraging on the other project results and feedback. If that's the case, definitely all the more reason I feel to merge it so that like we show like the combined approach. If it's really fully segregated. Still, I feel that having one dedicated section, so 4.4 or 5 section in the deliverable would make more sense, I think, for Edge when they are reviewing the deliverable. once again, open to discussion and comment. Because right now in 4.3, if we scroll down on some more on Toom's part, did you include as well like the results and the outcome, or any results and the outcome, or not at all? If that's not the case, then we can leave them in the standalone part. But maybe chronologically speaking, from at least from a reading experience perspective, maybe it would make more sense to put them to put the results that are being shown by Juan maybe later, so that the reader can have it like after like the full description of the system modeling, the various algorithms used for reinforcement learning, for optimization, and so on. Can we go maybe, I don't know, on Overleaf, because I'm not a big huge extremely knowledgeable
Romain,
Overleaf.
because we our EDF email box cannot receive the invitation link from Overleaf, so
sure.
access to this this file via my Gmail
sure.
Gmail mailbox. So it seems that our email cannot receive.
No worries, but I have access on it. But my point was just like, Lynn, if it's not too troublesome for you to maybe display or render and process the summary of the document, so that we can look at all the section and subsection and try to see how we can maybe better display the results between 4.3. Yeah, excellent. This one, excellent, perfect. Thanks, Lynn. So right now, if we look at 4.2, so yeah, framework, so basically like system modeling, the algorithm for reinforcement learning, and then the results. And 4.3, so it was right now, we had as well some kind of, let's say, implementation or system definition, so very much similar to 3.1, 4.1, clear. The demo, so that's more the user interface that we have. And then if you scroll down, there is no... Okay, so right now we have those two parties, so definition of the system and basically the demo. No, actually, so they are quite independent from each other. No, but I mean, no, looking at that, because I wasn't sure, because like the result that you are presenting in 4.2, those are like the dummy value, or the values that we are using for the web simulator that Toom created. Actually, I'm fine with the structure like that. So I don't think we have any issues, because since there are not no actual, let's say, simulation results, but it's more like demonstration results, we could leave it in 3.3. One, getting back to the question of the doubt you had, I think actually it's quite okay like that. I don't know how you feel with the rest of the team.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a little bit separated from each other for the two work packages.
Yeah. Okay, no, we can leave it like that.
Okay.
Yeah, for now. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, for 4.2, there's a question. What's the advantage of using DRL instead of using conventional optimization method?
It solves the problem much more faster for each day.
I think that's a fair point, Lynn. I think that's exactly this kind of high-level takeaway that we need to highlight in the document, because I think like no one on EMA side or even on Edge Office maybe, but EMA I'm pretty sure like no one will be really like an expert, or at least nothing near your level in terms of RL. So we need to put like in the simulation results. Probably we can have like either in the introduction or in the conclusion, but some kind of high level conclusion saying okay.
Yeah, I think there should be a conclusion at the end of this part, this one.
Yeah.
And explain why why we need reinforcement learning and the advantage of it. So that it's just a lazy understanding for people to better understand it.
And maybe one quantify when you were saying like one that it's much faster than conventional or deterministic approach. It would be definitely good to have like an actual, let's say, evaluation of these savings. If we're looking at, I don't know, 10 minutes versus 12 minutes, or if it's like 10 minutes versus 2 days, that's the kind of very striking values that will help Edge like grasp the interest of the work, and why such an approach is really like a differentiator to optimize such a system.
Yeah. So Juan, maybe you can add a conclusion session in this chapter. What do you think?
Yes, okay, sure. I can add it.
And just for us, I mean, just the order of magnitude, like in terms of time saving, is it really substantial? I mean, is it few hours or few minutes compared to few days to reach the same I would say accuracy or optimization efficiency, or how would you quantify it, Juan?
Yeah.
I see. The original one, I think last time the Lisa told me that they need 1 day to solve the problem, and the DRL maybe need like 4 hours to solve this one. I can describe the time. Okay.
No, that's quite substantial. So let's focus on that, because that's part as well of the overall, let's say, added value that was created by this approach from the project. So that's exactly what Edge will try to understand in the overall conclusion. So that's an excellent point. Thanks Tim for suggesting that.
My point is that if you want to clarify the advantage, maybe it's just like Roman said, maybe it's better to have a quantitative comparison or something instead of just qualitative explanation. Oh, this is better than that one. It's not really convincing sometimes. It is my personal understanding. So I think it would be better to add some quantitative comparison and give the final conclusion in this chapter. Yeah, this will be better.
Okay. I can draw a time complexity, a picture about the computational complexity for these two methods.
Quantitative comparisons. Okay. So for the claim, Roman, do you have any comments on these technical parts?
No. I will have to go through it into details, like now that it's nearing completion for the final review process. But no, right now, I mean, the structure looks quite consistent, quite easy to get. So the idea is, as usual, I try to on each of those parts to maybe start those chapter with like an executive summary in which we basically highlight what has been achieved and why we feel that this is bringing value and then changing the approach compared to more traditional modeling and approach. So no, I mean, maybe that's what I will try to synthesize when I will be reading it, trying to get like for 4.2 and 4.3, like a highlight in maybe a couple of sentences in this executive summary. Okay, this is the main key takeaway. We're using DRL because it's much faster, 4 hours versus 1 day, so closer to real-time adjustment of those, let's say, controlling strategy, and maybe as well like on the Mesmo part. Actually, no, sorry, my bad. Actually, we have evaluation results using Mesmo in 4.1.2. So maybe, okay, now I see your point. I think one, that's maybe between 3.3 and 4.1.2. That's the results. And then just like, so there is this question of having like an executive summary to make sure that EMA and Edge grasp the interest of our work. But maybe now between the results, so the page 21 and page 16, how do they compare, and what's the difference? What kind of results are we looking at in those two different cases? Because in one case it's like a DRL, it's like fully relying on the reinforcement learning, and then on the other side it's more like using MESMO and optimization process and so on, right?
Roman, because
yes.
Using the MESMO, the DRO is more like we can consider for the cost optimization. Yeah. And
sorry, come again, Gian?
I mean, when we use the DRO
yes.
It's more like in the MESMO, it's more like in the cost optimization. For example, we simulate the nominal operations as well as the optimal operation. The two cases we present in the report. Yeah.
Yes. But how do those results compare with like the one presented by Juan in 3.3 basically, because it's using like different techniques, so DRO versus DRL. At some point it's still not clear like when those two techniques are intertwined and not, so that's what I think Lynn you tried to understand last week. But in terms of actual, let's say, results and optimization, or I don't know, relative savings or maximization of renewable penetration, how do they relate? I mean, can we draw, or do you think Edge will be tempted to try to draw some comparison or something like that, or not at all?
Okay, from what I can see in Juan's report, Juan's part, like for both SIT and JTC, the result presented is mostly like the offering result. Okay. And for the DRO, for the MESMO part, you can see our result is like the branch active power, the node voltage, those values. It's like I think it's more like at the grid level and also at the, for example, the branch level.
Okay, whereas like your understanding on getting back to 4.2, the results presented by Juan will be at which level? The overall.
Yes. The system and the grid level, what I can see. So yeah, my understanding. Yeah.
But are they consistent? Like let's say I mean I don't know, like if we focus on SIT results for the future SIT campus, let's say that on one side, the NTU side, we reach, I don't know, 100% in terms of cost and 100% in terms of renewable integration. If you aggregate using MESMO, like all the branches and run the simulation on the overall system, even though it might be super time consuming, is it consistent? Eventually, do we reach something like around 100 as well for the cost, the cost of energy for SIT, and similarly in terms of renewable penetration, is it similar as well, or? Because I think that's the kind of question that Edge is likely to ask us, that, okay, you're presenting two different approaches, read-to-read and inter-microgrid communication, I mean, inter-microgrid optimization, but if you try to combine both approaches, I mean, are they working consistently, or?
Yeah, because so far you see, our experiments are mostly like at the single grid level, microgrid level. You can see we either use the SIT or use the JTC data.
Yeah. Yes.
We don't simulate like the multiple microgrid the scenarios. Yeah. I think this is like the future work. Yeah, future work to do. Yeah. Because previously, like our simulations, like together, have finished with the Lalita and the Soki, is still like limited the single microgrid level. Yeah.
Okay. So does it mean that they should be quite consistent, right? That we made a comparison, or?
Yeah. I think these two simulation results are using the same data, right? So maybe we can combine these two parts together, because I know DRL majorly focus on the bidding part, and the operation part also use the Mesmo to solve. Yeah, I think the DRO did the similar work, because the DRO solved the bidding part first and then solved the real-time operation. And I think, in my understanding, the evaluation result using Mesmo majorly focus on the real-time control, real-time operation of these two results. So maybe we can combine these two parts together. So because the DRL compare the bidding part of the DRL and the DRO, and the DRO can also more focus on the real-time operation parts and show the result, just like the 4.1.2. So we can divide it into two parts to show the evaluation results. Is that okay?
So we're saying that basically, getting back to the question that you had initially, Juan, so we'll try to combine both results, right, in one standalone section in documents. So basically merging like 3.3 and 4.1.2 in maybe like a section 5 that we could call like results or optimization outcome or quantitative added value or something like that.
Yeah, both are okay for me.
Can we have a quick look like at the in 4.1.2 if we go to page 21 in the results using Mesmo, if we scroll down, so let's say that we focus on SIT, that's clear. Okay, so we are having like, it's more like operation, so we're looking at power over time. Okay, load curve and everything, that's very clear. Okay. Okay, so that's what we have. So basically, in this case, it's more like really, like you were saying, like Gian, power over time, so really load curve. Whereas in 3.3, we're looking at, I can't remember, like in the on the y-axis, it's money, right? It's cost of energy or something like that.
3.3.
Yes, the simulation results from the DRL modeling from Juan. Yes, they're the bar charts. Perfect. Thanks, Lynn. There, no, it's kilowatt hours over time. So okay, it's 1 hour apart. So it's pretty much the same graph.
It's not cost.
No, it's not cost. The same, basically. I mean, energy or power, it's more or less the same, like knowing that we're displaying time as well. So it's quite consistent. How to reconcile those two, and there we have this is mainly focusing on, that's why that's just basically the local generation capability, whether it's actual generation source or flexibility source, like, I don't know, vehicle to grid or battery, meaning that this is not representative of the whole load that we have in the system, but that could be getting back to 4.2.2, what we're showing on the screen right now is just how we propose to operate the local DR that we have on in this case on SIT campus. So that's the optimal. That's at least like with a given sets of inputs. That's the optimal, let's say, conclusion that we reach using reinforcement learning between weekdays and weekends. And this should be a part of the load curve that was displayed on 4.2.2. We just try to have a look. So we have more or less what? So it's 12. It's kilowatt hour, so 12 megawatt hour. Yeah, I'm surprised. It seems like suspiciously high. So it means that. No, sorry, it's the reserve. Sorry, so yeah, okay, it's just the reserve. But in terms of actual energy, so yeah, we're looking at something around 2 megawatts more or less. 2 megawatts more or less constant, like between 10 and 5 p.m. Okay, so 10 megawatts. 2 megawatts, sorry. And is this consistent with what we have? Plus, you have all the reserve calculation and so on to generate revenues on the market. And if you go back to 4.2.2, sorry, Lynn, for the in and out, the curve are consistent.
For this one or 4.1?
Sorry, 4.1.2. Sorry, page 21. The results. Thanks. If you go as well to the chart that were uploaded like later inside the document. So this is the branch power value. If you scroll down, remember like we had like 2 or 4 active power values from the simulation. Right. To look. And there. So it's on the specific node, but we are at what? So it's watt instead of kilowatt. On this specific branch, okay, we have, let's say, 1.8 or 1.7 minus 1.7 kilowatts. This one is 2 kilowatt. But yeah, on this side, so Gian, you confirm that this is just one branch and one part of the network and not consistent with the overall approach. So that's my point. If we were to run and like those modeling those models on the whole system, eventually will we be reaching something similar to the optimal approach that is found using reinforcement learning at a higher level? How, I mean, do you know how we can expect to have some results potentially there?
Okay, so Roman, for this, I cannot give a conclusion yet. I think we need to do some plot those results and have some more observations. Yeah, because you see here, it's like I plot the result for 5 branches, right? DR, those branch active power and DR powers, and not totally. You know, they are generally around 40 also. Yeah, not all the results are here.
Okay.
This is like a general trend. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that's achievable or not? Like to try to see whether or not like let's say 4.2 and 4.3 results can somehow converge, knowing that, let's say, the 4.3 is more, I would call it like a top-down approach, and on 4.3 is more on the bottom-up approach. I would say, like looking at all the different branches and all the different nodes in the physical grid, and then consolidating like it like globally.
Globally. Here, Juan, do you have any comments? If the DRL and also the DRO can reach some like similar observations.
Yeah, I think in the operation level, I think the DRL and the DRO may get the very similar results. The major difference is focused on between DRL and the DRO is the upper level, which is the bidding level. So after we can use the total cost to compare these two methods, but for the operation level, we can use the result of the DRO to show. I think that will not influence the results a lot. Yeah, we can separate it into two parts. So that's my suggestion.
My point of view is that DRO is between robust optimization and stochastic optimization, so it's in the between. And for DRL, the environment is actually similar to stochastic optimization. So you're actually using reinforced DDPG agent to adapt to the stochastic optimization. So it's more similar to stochastic optimization. And I guess DRO will be a little bit more conservative than DRL based method. This is my understanding. Maybe Prof. Xu has more significant understanding of this. What do you think, Prof. Xu?
I think the major advantage of DRO is the fast computation speed, for which we shift the online computation burden to the offline training. So as long as the model is trained, we can apply it in real time. But in terms of the solution quality or optimality, it is difficult to say. In generally, theoretically speaking, as long as the DRL model is well trained, covering comprehensive operating region of the system, theoretically speaking, its optimality should be better, because for the classic optimization algorithm, we can only converge to local optima. So that is the theoretical part. However, depending on the actual training, it's difficult to say whether DRL is always better or not. But in this case, I think as far as we have compared, the DRL can perform slightly better than the classic algorithms. And another advantage we may highlight is DRL model can the DRL approach can model different objective functions and constraints, while for the classic programming, we need to formulate the whole problem into linear or quadratic in order to get an efficient solution. That is also an advantage for DRL. Yeah, that is my comments on this.
I think that's the kind of, let's say, message that we need to write somewhere in an executive summary, so that like this kind of pre-digested message can reach directly Edge Office and EMA, saying, okay, we feel that this one is better for real-time operation, but it needs to be properly trained and potentially adjusted, and that can't be made like in real time. That's the kind of, let's say, key takeaway that Edge Office needs to have eventually when reading this very important deliverable. So I don't know in between you, Prof. Xu, and with your knowledge, I mean, and all the extensive, let's say, publication list that you have on this topic, probably you can feel like the differentiating part and how this work was interesting and was innovative. And maybe that's where we should like focus the executive summary on for Edge Office, because probably that's something that we'll have to present at some point as the conclusion of the project. Would that be possible on the NTU side to try to once again, no need to write like a full page on that, but maybe I don't know, one small section, maybe a few sentences just to highlight basically what you described, like difference between DRO, DRL, and where each of them has an added value. That's going to be definitely bringing clarity, I think, to Edge.
Yes, sure. We will add this section, paragraph.
Thanks.
Sure.
And so we will see whether or not we put it in 4.2 or 4.3, but or maybe we'll even put it like in a standalone section at the introduction of the document called like executive summary. But yeah, if you don't mind like drafting something, and I will try as well based on my, I would say, limited understanding of all the complicated concepts behind. I would try as well to potentially add some interesting part that non-experts could take away as well on the while reading it.
Sure.
Thanks.
Sure.
And so in terms of completion right now, so on both sides for 4.2 and 4.3, you confirm that this is good to review and ready to for review, or do you want to do you still need to fine tune some conclusion, or can we start like reviewing this this extensive document now?
I think that I include several more references. I think also for Juan, there's currently no reference on your side, but yeah, we need to include some references to make it more professional. Yeah.
Okay, but it's just, I mean, it's just like references inclusion. It's not like a new, conclusions or new content in the document itself, right? If that's the case, then I think it's good to start the review now so that we don't waste too much time.
Yeah. Okay, I think I can start the review.
Okay, excellent, good. Okay, but let's put that on each like to-do list. So Lynn, feel free to chase all of us. So namely, it has to be reviewed by the co-PI, so myself, Tobias, Erin, Prof. Shu, to make sure that we have something meeting the quality standards, and maybe needing some, as usual, some few clarification from the authors.
Yeah, sure.
Good. No, it's excellent. So well done to all the writing contributors. So on the NTU and TUM side, that's very much appreciated. Thanks for the good work. And so now the ball is in our hands on the co-PI part to review and hopefully validate the deliverable. That's a huge achievement. So thanks so much. I'm just seeing as well that sorry, go ahead, Prof. Shu.
No. I'm just yeah. Welcome.
Thanks again. I'm just seeing as well, Erin, that you managed to connect. I hope you're not feeling too down.
Okay. I have reached home. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Thanks. Yeah.
No worries. I mean, we are just like in the introduction, I was saying that we are still, I think, waiting for the final completion. I think it's like 1.3 or something like that on the reference that you have for the waste to energy. Feel free to let us know as well as soon as you have something you can start reviewing.
It's already under review.
Good.
Yes, under review. There are some feedback already. I'm actually making corrections now.
Okay, but you mean review internally within SIT or?
No, within the group members, the project members.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks for that. And so just to be clear as well, because like we'll be totally transparent, I haven't started at all on my side. So the latest version that we can all review and put comments on, it's on LRZ, right, as usual?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Thanks. Okay, so Lynn, we have to feel free to chase all of us to review 1.3 and 4 now in the coming weeks.
Yeah, sure.
Excellent. Good. And yes, and maybe one last items like related to our technical discussions, maybe more on your side, Lynn. You remember as well as part of, I think it was part of P3 and potentially P4, we had as well to demonstrate some test on site leveraging on EDF a microgrid that we're operating with REITs and NTU on Semakau Island. Do you have any news right now in terms of content? I don't remember if Lalita and Sophie managed to populate something in P3 before they left the project. But do you have any vision on that part, Lynn?
No, I'm not sure. I didn't. I'm not sure. I think I didn't discuss this with Lalita before.
Okay.
I will give you a private call later on.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. I'll double check. I think maybe with internal within EDF, so with Edouard and as well potentially Christophe and Dominique, because I know that there was like a part that we wanted to demonstrate on the fuel cell, and so I know that we are waiting to receive our fuel cell on Mazera, and I know that there was some kind of, as usual, permitting trouble, delays, and so on. So I just want to be sure that this part will be covered because I'm pretty sure that Edge will ask something on that part as well.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, thanks. And I think that's pretty much it on my side. So in terms of, time-wise, what I would suggest, so we are almost there in terms of completion of P3 and P4. By rights, we're supposed to finish like end of Feb, but I would suggest maybe to have one last technical committee, because I think that was the last one that was shared with everyone. So how would you feel if we reschedule last technical committee to have a look at the final revision of the and basically validate the P4 document, and as well like formally track down the completion and the validation of 1.3 with SIT. Can we maybe try to schedule something end of March? So I'm looking at potentially like the 28th of March. I don't know if that would work. So probably the same timeline as well, like 2 p.m. Singapore time. Would that work for most of us?
I have to clear my leave, so the last 2 weeks of March I will not be around.
Okay, no worries. Then we can. I'm fine. Like moving it to the first week of April, if you're back by then, Tobias.
Yeah. Fine.
So the 4th of April, would that work? PM.
Just a moment.
Yeah, fine for me.
Okay, thanks, Erin.
4th. Yeah, can be done.
Okay.
First the week of April?
April, yes. Tuesday.
Yes, should be fine with me.
Okay, perfect. Let me just shoot the invitation right away. So that will be officially our last one. And I think like a few weeks after that, we have the last steering committee to finalize like the last audit, claim submission and everything. Okay, perfect. So the objective would be to complete deliverable 4 review and 1.3 review, and then we are good to go. And definitely on the side, Lynn, let's keep in touch to check like the test and the site results that Lalita and the team on EDF with Mazera was supposed to complete as well.
Okay, sure.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone.
Sure. Okay.
And get well soon, Irene. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank
See
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.